Hello everyone, I'm D,
And I'm R.
and together we are
DJR
DJR Union. Unfortunately, Jay could not join us today. He's been working very hard this week and unfortunately decided to take a quick little nap, so it's just going to be the two of us today.
But that's going to be perfectly fine. Like I said, we'll be able to discuss whatever content we want to bring to you today, and hopefully you guys enjoy what we have to say today.
So recently, Union Arena decided to reveal the card list for the Bleach, Thousand Year Blood War, and the Hunter x Hunter sets. And today we're going to be going through these card lists to see what you guys can be expecting in these coming sets coming out October 4th to a store near you.
Yeah, I heard that they were removing some cards and adding some other cards. Hopefully, I'm praying, please do not take the cards that I would originally gracefully enjoy playing in my Bleach deck. If they do, I will be quite literally upset. But fingers crossed that they didn't make any changes, okay?
So to get things started, we're going to talk about the new cards and the removed cards from the set.
I can already tell by looking at this list, I am extremely mad right now. Orihime, forget her, I don't care about that. What I'm looking at is, why is Rukia removed from this list?
What do you mean?
Bro.
It's just Rukia.
It's Rukia, bro. It's the wrong Rukia they removed, bro.
So which Rukia would you have preferred they remove?
Not that one.
Fair enough, honestly. Fair enough.
Bro, why they remove the zero cost Rukia?
That's a good question.
Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. What is this card? What is this Razor card up here, bro? What does that card do?
It's a 4 energy, 1 action for 4,000 BP.
So it does absolutely nothing.
No.
It's a waste of card.
No.
It is.
If it's in your life, you get to add it to your hand.
It's in my life, I get to add to my hand. What am I going to use this card for? There's literally so many more 4 energy, 1 action cards that does way more than that. Trash.
But Shizuku's here.
Shizuku, what she do? Nothing. Trash. Give me back my root.
But what about Wing? What about Wing?
What am I gonna do? One wing angel just junk?
Yeah.
Huh? I ain't winging nothing with this, bro. What is this?
So yeah, unfortunately, these new cards that they added in it's just 3 vanilla cards. They do nothing. They're quite pointless. The only reason they did it is probably to deal with the whole sealed tournament format that they want to go into. So they just wanted to put in some 4 energy, 4,000 BP trash bins for the sake of pulling cards for you to shuffle into your deck.
Literally, no one's gonna use this card, bro. If anyone uses this card, I'll personally look at you and like, bro, what life decisions are you making?
You know what? I'm gonna put that 4-cost Razor in my deck just to spite you now.
Just to spite me, I will Gesuga it every single time.
Do it.
Huh?
I want to see you do it. Do it.
I will save 1 Pacific Gesuga for that card.
I got you.
Especially.
All right. We'll see if that ever happens.
Yeah, bro. Why they remove my Rukia, bro?
All right, now let's talk about some of these newly added cards as well. You have this Gon, which I think is pretty good. He's a 2,000 BP unit. However, he does have this ability where when he attacks, you can reveal a number of cards in your hand, and if there's specified slot, then as long as the specified slot number is 4 or more, you get to give 1 character on the field, any character, impact +1. And what it does is it gives a non-impact character impact, or it makes your impact character deal an extra damage when it impacts something.
I mean, honestly, overall for the card, for it being like a 1 energy, 1 action type of card with 2k BP, it's honestly not bad, in my humble opinion. I guess the fact that where I'll have to see it in play is the fact that it says when attacking and not when played.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more so like you have to, okay, let me get this going out, and then the following turn I can start swinging with it.
Right.
So it's literally like, say, either you're going first, if you're going second on the draw,
mm-hmm.
or if you're going, it's definitely not a card you're going to see in action on your first turn, regardless of where you're going first or second. It'll probably see play. It'll probably start being put to use on your 3rd turn, if anything.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely seeing turn 3 strats coming up, especially when you want to consider in the 6 energy 2 action, the Hisoka, the one with impact 1 and damage 2. You can do some nasty stuff with him. That is if you deal with a blue-green deck, but odds are trying to get a 6 energy Hisoka out and have this 1 energy gone out is going to be kind of difficult.
I think it's more so in the sense of like just picking and choosing what you want to put out, and what you want to try to go for. Overall, it's just more so it's like how you're going to build a deck, what's the purpose of the deck, what the deck does very well. And I'm guessing if you take like say a Gon and he's going to try to play in the same deck, you're just going to have too many conflicting factors where it's just like you might as well just play one over the other.
Moving over to the next Hunter x Hunter card that's newly added, we got Kurapika 2 and 1 action. If there's a character with 5,000 or more BP on your field, he will get impact. Which, knowing the green side of things in Hunter x Hunter, it's not hard to get a character to 5k or more BP. There is no real downside because, yes, he's the one with 3,000 BP, but getting a 4,000 character to 5,000 is much easier, especially when you consider, I believe it's a green Gon that has an ability where when he enters, he gives everyone 1,000, and when he attacks, he gives everyone 1,000.
Yeah. So playing Kurapika and that with that card in that sense will definitely get to hitting the conditions for Kurapika and to getting him that impact onto his card versus like say you swinging with a whole bunch of other big body characters.
Right.
Especially if you have more than one character with impact. Like say you're having 2 or 3 characters with impact, you're definitely gonna be mobbing over your enemy opponent. Even more so, because like I said, with the card pool that we have now, it seems as though like the general ground base BP, like the set medium BP for what determines a good card from a bad card is like 35 to 4k.
Yeah.
And as we know, if you swing with 4k onto a 4k, it's gonna kill it.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, am I gonna lose my character or am I just gonna take all this damage to the face and next thing you know, I'm 3-4 cards deep, losing against my opponent. So Kurapika, I definitely see a lot of potential with him, especially in like say the type of green 100 decks you build based around just increasing your BP as much as possible. So yeah, I see this card having a lot of potential, honestly.
And then we move on to the last newly added card. It is a Killua Zoldyck, part of the Zoldyck family, 3-in-1, 2 energy. He generates 2 energy. When he attacks, if there is a character that is on your opponent's field and they've been sidelined this turn, he gets 1k BP until the end of turn. And then he has an active on his main phase that can be activated once per turn, where you can only activate it if a character on your opponent's field has been sidelined this turn and you can move him to the other line. So it sounds like he has a free movement phase during the main phase, or like I guess you could say a makeshift step, especially when attacking. Since he gains the extra 1,000, he's a makeshift 4k BP character as well.
I like it. Yeah, makeshift 4k BP character is really good. I also like the fact that one, if you bring him onto his back line, he generates 2 energy right off rip. He's only a Dree cost for 1 action, which is also super good. And the fact that you get a 1 action, 3 energy, 3k BP that could jump to 4k, and also has an additional effect where it's like once per turn you can basically shift your character and just change his location onto the field. That alone makes me feel as though he's probably one of the more better cards out of this group, mainly because he gets immediate usage once he goes out onto the field and he can start doing these on that turn versus other cards which kind of like say you need setup for them.
Right.
This card is more so like say, hey, I can put him on the field and I can start putting him to use.
Because it's quite simple to just like, you play him out on your front line and he's rested, right? But again, his main phase active ability that activates, if you killed someone that turn with, let's say, a fishing rod, for example, while you had a gun on the field, you stand him up right away, he could attack that turn. That makes him a really good card, especially in purple where it deals a lot with grave stuff. And his father, Silva, I believe, has some pretty neat tricks that could probably help him out with getting kills as quick as possible. So that way he can constantly be standing himself back up during your main phase if need be.
Exactly. So yeah, this is another card with pretty good potential. So I'll see how or what mark he makes in the TCG game once the sets has been released. Getting right into it, we're gonna start off with the list from the Bleach set, and right on real we have I'm pretty sure I'm gonna butcher his name, so forgive me, as Goro Eber.
I think you mean Asciaro Ebern.
Yes, that. All right, what do he do? He's 0 action. All right, he's a fodder. He got step. You know, it's all right.
Step isn't bad. It's good for mind games, but that's all it's really good for on a low-cost character like this. I mean, you can probably put him in the front line early game, try to get some cheeky hits in, and if you do or don't, you can move him back to the back line, to the energy line, and you'll be safe.
Or you just fake out your opponent. Hey, I'm gonna put a card in the front line. They're like, Nani?
Yeah, they panic.
They panic, put their only 0 cost on the front line, and you just move your card back, be like, haha, made you move.
Now you can't do anything for the rest of the game.
Exactly. Easy. As the note.
Alright, 0 cost, 1 action, no real effect. That's it.
Alright, now.
And as not with substance.
Substance. What does this one do?
He gains 1k BP for every resting character on your opponent's front line. That's not bad considering what some of the future yellow cards are going to be doing, but the main thing about it gaining BP at 2k is that, let's say you attack with like the higher attackers early on before you attack with Asnoth, then they obviously are going to rest their characters to block yours, you know, get them out of the way or protect themselves from taking damage. Asnoth's going to get a power boost, possibly to 4 or even 5k before they attack, therefore leading into your opponent having to either let the attack go through or lose possibly one of their strongest characters.
Actually, that's a good way of looking at it. I honestly wasn't thinking about it in that sense, but now that you mention it, it's like if you're swinging with higher BP characters first, and they have to block, hey, I need to either block these characters to let them slide by, and in addition to, like, say, utilizing the blocking mechanism, you're only making Asnoth that much stronger for when it's his turn to swing. So yeah, I definitely see where you're getting at there, and I think that actually there's a lot of good mind games and a lot of play that can be used based around that simple effect.
Alright, and here we have Asnoth's raid, but we're actually going to move forward to the alt art version of this.
Because, you know, we like the alt art around here.
Borderless, you know, as you see, there's no yellow around it. I love the borderless frames. They look so good.
They're so nice.
So, anyways, we have Asnoth, 4 energy, 1 action, 4k BP as your raid. He has impact, which is pretty much stereotypical for a raid character. If they don't have impact, they'll either find a way to create it, or they'll have a good enough ability to make up for it.
Yeah, but just the fact that it's like on play, he's raid with impact, that alone to me is like a staple. That's the staple line. Like,
yeah.
4 energy, 1 action, 4k BP, you have raid, you have impact, you are the staple raid character.
Yes.
As far as like his active ability, his active main on the front line, once per turn, choose up to 1 character, 3k or less PT on your opponent front line, switch it to resting. That's not bad. Like I said, it's just like the on play, either kill a character or just subtract their BP. On play, yeah. Switch a character on the field to resting. That's not bad, honestly.
Yeah, it gets rid of the fodder blocker that your opponent might have out. You know, like, oh, you have your 500 BP Mito out on the field. You just rest her. She can now no longer fodder block for your stronger units at that point because she can't use any actions. So it's a pretty neat thing, and then being able to use it every main phase makes it so that your opponent has to get rid of Asnoth or they cannot fodder block. They have to block with their bigger characters, and that risks a lot of misplays, and it's a really controlling thing to do.
Exactly, and like I said, it's not so much just like, hey, you're killing your characters. No, I'm just gonna switch your characters to resting, and now I'm gonna make you even think even harder as to what you gotta do. To me, that just says toxicity at its finest. Don't play against the deck. If you see it in tournament, just scoop.
Just scoop.
Just save yourself the embarrassment.
So if Morpheus here is on your front line and you switch him to resting, you can choose 1 character on your opponent's front line and you can switch them to resting.
It's alright. I mean, me personally, I would want to keep my characters active so I can swing at your face versus switching my character to resting and switch your characters to resting.
Yeah.
Because at that point, your character is just going to switch back to active on your turn anyway. Mm-hmm. So unless I have a character that has like damage 2 or anything and I'm swinging in directly, I can see where this is working. But if that's not the case, OP, I'm just gonna call him OP, is kind of meh. I personally wouldn't play him.
He is definitely not exuding Morpheus energy right now.
Definitely not. He's a wannabe.
What about Morpheus number 2?
Morpheus number 2. It looks like he's trying to flip you off, but he chose the wrong finger on purpose.
Bro, no, he think he's flipping you off, but he doesn't know that's the wrong finger.
See, he doesn't know because he's trying to wear these glasses that he can't see out of, so that's why he needs to stop it, alright?
Okay, so he's a 4 energy 2 action with 4k BP.
Trash. Already trash. he's 4 energy and he costs 2 actions.
But hear me out. You gotta read his ability to see why he's 2 action. See, if there's 1 or more resting characters on your opponent's field, you can play him set to active on your field.
Set to active on my field.
If there's 1 or more resting characters on your opponent's field.
So this leads me to the question of like, I have to set him up.
Yeah.
More than likely, I have to set him up on that same turn. Now, if he was 1 action, I could see where it's like, okay, it will be a good thing. I can use my first 2 actions, set him up, play him, and then start swinging. But the fact that he's 2 actions, and unless I have a card that can reset my action points, like I said, it's just another card that I personally wouldn't play in the deck.
But did you see his when attacking ability? When he attacks, you get to choose 1 resting character that your opponent has, and they do not switch to active next time they would. Basically meaning they now no longer can attack with that character on their turn. So let's say you have in fact, let's go back to this OP, this Morpheus. You switch any character. You get the choice of any character. So you can set an impact character to resting with him. And if you do that on the main phase, then bring him out with your 2 other action points. Now when you attack with him, since you switch someone to resting on that turn, you would then now nullify that impact for their next turn, giving you an extra turn of damage free.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I can definitely see that.
It's just the 2 actions is too much for you.
The 2 actions really was killing me. I mean, like I said, like, if I'm using 2 actions, it really has to like hurt my opponent, which I guess with the when attacking phase, yeah, it could if you set up for him.
Right.
I would have to see the other yellow cards, honestly, because like if I just have to play 4 of these 2 type of OPs, I honestly rather would not if I know there are better cards that I could play, honestly.
Right.
That's just me.
Fair enough.
Who is this King Kong looking mother? Bro, I just realized, why just give this man the blackest name in Bleach, bro? What the? And this dude black and looking like a gorilla. If this ain't the most racist, bro.
So we got Jerome out here, 3 energy, 1 action. Pretty much if there is a purple or green card on your opponent's field, you can reduce his required energy by 1.
Oh, so they being extra racist, bro. Why you gotta be purple and green, bro? Why I gotta be against purple and green? Why can't it be blue and red? Yeah, go to the next card.
Alright, we got Kang Do, who has one of the most interesting abilities, I think, in this in the full sets is Nullify Impact. Pretty much being able to nullify impact for a character that they block.
I actually like this ability. I think this ability is really good because where I'm realizing, especially with playing with like say the demo decks as well as the super pre-release decks, when you're face to face with an impact character, it almost makes no sense to block with that character.
Right.
I mean with your characters, because you're losing a character and you're taking 1 damage, so you're getting 2 for 1. Versus where it's like I might as well just let the attack go through and save my character to swing back at you.
Right.
So the fact that we have cards or character cards with nullify impact on the field, it's pretty good to use them as far to be like, hey, at least I can stop your impact character for now to buy me some extra time to find a way to deal with it.
Right.
So I really do like this inclusion.
It's really interesting. I'm excited to see what happens with the nullify impact cards in the future.
Yes, I feel still the nullify impact can definitely go a long way, especially dealing with the more beefier characters in this game.
Driscoll Birchie.
Driscoll Birchie, so
2 and a 1, 3k, impact 1. Can't really say much about it. It's really, you get an impact 1 character early game off of just 2 energy. I think that's really good.
Yeah, that's really good to me too, because I know there are games where it's like, based on where my opponent's at, I can rush out like an impact Ichigo or an impact Gon. I can rush out on like say my 2nd turn. And keep in mind, those cards are like 4 energy cost 1 action. The fact that this is 2 energy cost 1 action, I can go as far as to rush them out on my 2nd turn.
Right.
In that case, and start applying impact pressure. So that's really good.
The odds of them having a character high enough to successfully block this character early on is very low.
Yeah. Unless, of course, like we saw before, they have to nullify impact characters, then that's, in this situation, will be useful. But if not, it's like, hey, you're taking free early game pressure, which in a game like Unit Arena, you want to try to prevent as much as possible.
Not a coup. Let's just say real quick, if he's active, you get a second energy generation, which isn't bad for a 2 energy, 1 action character.
I mean, it's not bad. It's like the standard.
Yeah, he's meant to be in your back line. He's not meant to do anything else other than really just be in your back line.
Bro, I'm just trying to understand why my man's lifts the same tone as his skin. And when I mean same tone, I mean legit the same tone. They didn't even try.
They drew the lips on after they colored in the character.
Exactly, bro. My man didn't even try to add some type of emphasis of have a black character with big lips, man. At least try. My dude, what are you doing?
And he got the nose, though.
Bro, this is so... This dude has my nose, bro.
Baz B. Wait, there's no art for him. Baz B. Oh, wait. I actually kind of like this one better, low-key.
Bro, my man looks messed up, bro.
Which one? Wait. No, like, seriously. Do you like this one better or do you like this one better?
Honestly, the full... Tell you this. The full art one, I like the character image. I like how clean it looks. But if we go back to the other one... If they were going to use this art, I would have preferred to use this art for the full art, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I really like this art for him, and I feel like I would personally use this card a lot more than I would use the all art version of him.
I agree.
We're gonna look at the all art version just because he's closer to the next card.
Yeah.
So here, on your main phase, you can place 1 card from your hand into your sideline. When you do that, he gets damage 2, and he also gets, when he attacks and wins a battle, you get to draw a card.
Which, I mean, it's not... I mean, it's pretty good, honestly. Like you say, you just sideline a card from your hand. You get damage 2, and then when he wins the battle, you draw a card. So he basically replaces the card you use.
Yep.
In that sense, which is not bad. 5 add, like say 5 energy, 1 action. It's not bad. Depending on the type of cards you're playing, it could probably be easier to get 5 action than some other cards do. So... Overall, I would say it's a pretty okay card. Honestly, it's pretty alright. It's alright to me.
I like the being able to get damage too, and then you have a reward for your opponent blocking him, because it's like damage 2. You know the damage isn't gonna go through unless they have some weird plan up their head and they let the damage go through. Unless, of course, also you get all their cards rested and then you can get the damage through. But since the odds of that happening are very low, obviously someone's going to try to block him so the damage 2 doesn't go through, but you get a reward for it. It's not just, oh, it has damage 2 and that's it. It also has something to fall back on because the damage 2 might not always go through.
Yeah. You know what I see this card as? I think this is one of those cards is that you play when you're already ahead. And it says like, okay, I'm ahead, I'm going to play this card to send it home. Right. Versus a card where it's like you play it to... while you're still going head to head with your opponent, try to gain that lead. This card is more so like once you already acquired that lead.
Bombietta Basterbean. Bombietta Basterbean number 2. And speaking of 2, it's 2 energy and 1 action to get her out for 2 KBP.
Yeah, so it's pretty good standard plus the win played effect. Choose up to 1 character with 3,500 or less BP on your opponent's front line, switch to resting.
Again, another good card to switch characters to resting. 3,500 is a really good number because, again, that's as Ara said earlier, like the middle ground for like really good BP. So to be able to rest a character that could possibly block not only her but your other units, it's just something good to get out, especially for a win played.
For a win played effect, yeah. The fact that it's win played is really good. So it's a low cost. When played, switch to resting. It's a really good setup card for your bigger plays. So I like this Bambi a lot, honestly.
Right. Plus, compared to the other cards that we've seen so far, you've had to have the character in the front line to do it. With this character, since it's a when played, you can just throw in the back line and you get a free rest off of that.
Exactly.
Honestly, the odds of you building up an entire field where you can rest everyone on your opponent's field and get like 4 really good damage in on 1 turn. It's crazy.
That's really crazy because being in a game where you only have 7 life and the fact that you can just in 1 turn dish out up to 4 life.
Yeah.
that's pretty good. You're either coming back really hard or you're pushing super far ahead, where it's like your opponent needs to think carefully of what they're going to do next.
I'm not gonna lie, if you run a yellow deck focused on control and resting your opponent, you're gonna probably want to put 4 of her in your deck.
Yeah, I think Bambi is going to be one of those cards where it's like you will need to want to play 4 ups to fully utilize the resting mechanic.
Exactly. She's just too good of a card. This one version of this card is really strong. Now we have her raid.
Hey, yo, what? Oh, yeah.
That is some good art.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. She can look at me that way. Hey, okay, then stop.
Art. What the heck?
Hey, just don't worry about it. They don't know what I'm talking about.
All right then. For 1 cost, at 4 energy, if it is your turn, which odds are it might be unless it comes from your life, but still, if it is your turn, you choose up to 1 resting character on your opponent's front line and you kill it.
See, that's really good, because that is literally what I'm saying with the other Bambi, where it's like you play her, you rest one of your opponent's characters, then you play into this Bambi, and you just straight up kill it.
Yeah.
So now you don't even have to worry about that character doing something next turn if their opponent has any type of follow-up play. You just flat out kill it. Now they have to think, oh, freak, one of my best cards is gone now, or one of my best setup cards is gone. I need to do something else. I would say with this Bambi, I would definitely run her at a 2 minimum. Perhaps even run her up to 4, into a 4 up if possible. So
yeah,
I think Bambi will be a good staple. Just all 3 of them, the 0, the 2, and the 4 Bambi will be very good to run in this deck overall.
Yeah. So yeah, let's move forward. BG9.
Who the freak is this?
You don't know BG9.
BG9. What type of common rider wannabe is this, bro?
You know, he's just your 3 energy, 1 action, 2 energy generation character. And when he's played, if there is a resting character on your opponent's field, you get to draw a card.
I get to draw a card. That's all right. I mean, it's
Yeah.
good utility. I'll probably see him being played like as a 1 of or a 2 of most.
You definitely don't want to see him too much in your deck. So yeah, 1 or 2 of would be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, he draws cards, which is good. But if you have more cards that are sitting around just resting your enemy so you can swing in more so, I would want to prioritize those cards only. That's just me, honestly. I could be wrong. Let me know in the comments. Who is this man?
Berenice Gabrielli.
I think he got one shot by Kampachi in the arc. I don't remember this guy at all.
Probably, bro, because I don't remember them either.
He's 0 cost fodder, alright?
He's 0 cost fodder. You can switch him to resting once per turn, and he will gain an extra energy until end of turn, in which case he will die.
Okay, so he just ramped.
He is literally fodder ramp. Mas de Masculine.
Alright, we got Ladiva from Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. Okay.
So this beautiful Ladiva character has a when played effect where you can return 1 other character to your field with 1 less required energy to hand, and if you can't, then you return this character to the hand.
Okay, so it's pretty much just more ramp. It's just get rid of your 1 energy generating to put up a 2 energy generating. So it's as stable in any type of starting lineup you go.
Yeah.
So it's pretty average, so nothing special here. Jugram Hashwath. This man pissed me off in the anime.
Jugram Hashwath returns with 3 energy, 1 action, and if there are 2 or more characters with 4k or more BP on your opponent's field, he gains 500 BP to reach 4k.
For 3 energy, 1 action, I guess that's alright. Because, 4k swinging will beat a 4k blocking. And like we said, the baseline, it seems, for a lot of characters is like 3500 to 4k, especially for like a lot of raid characters.
Right.
So you're actually punishing the opponent for having multiple raid or 4k plus characters on their field. Like, hey, if this was 4500, I'm gonna play this, and then I now have a wall that you have to deal with.
Jugram Hashwath, his raid, and I believe he has an all art. His all art signed. Let's look at that.
Bro, why is this guy signed out of all people?
Why does this guy look so majestic, bro?
He looks majestic. He looks like he played in Castlevania.
Wait, no, he actually reminds me of freaking Dracula's son Alucard.
Yeah,
just a blonde Alucard.
Tell me he don't look like Alucard from Castlevania, bro.
His raid, he has impact 1. No conditions to it. He just has impact 1. Then if he's on your front line, at the end of your attack phase, if your opponent activated any trigger ability this turn, you draw 2 cards and place 1 from your hand into the sideline.
If you swing and you reveal, like, say, a trigger card that's like, say, oh, reveal this trigger card, switch my character back to active, get 3k BP. It basically stops your onslaught. So at least after this, it's like, okay, you want to get 3k BP? Fine, I'm gonna draw 2 cards now.
Right.
So now you just got punished for like utilizing your triggered abilities. So it's like, yeah, you pretty much just got like 2 for 1.
And then that when played effect, it says if you have less cards in your hand than your opponent will place 1 card from their hand into their sideline.
Yeah, another good effect. Like I feel as though it's very control-y like.
Yeah. Good way to get rid of like pretty much hand destruction. It's really good way to like limit the plays that your opponent can do. I mean, they get the choice of it, but that still limits their strategy by 1 extra card.
Exactly. As far as like how likely I feel as though he'll be used, although his effect is pretty strong. From the cards we've already seen in Yellow Bleach, they're more centered around resting your characters rather than just disrupting your character's actual hand and everything.
Right.
And take a game where you don't have a hand size, like a limited hand size. It's hard to read the tell just from looking at the card alone. Whether or not it's going to be useful in the yellow resting deck that I think that most people probably will end up playing, but it's a good card, but I have to see once it actually comes out how useful it's going to be.
Yeah, and especially when you're going up against decks like Purple Bleach. They thrive on having cards in their sidelines, so he won't be super effective in those situations.
Yeah, if anything, he feels more like I'm gonna have my side deck. That I'm just going to I'm gonna side all these cards and side him in.
Yeah.
Against this type of opponent. That's what he feels. He feels like a side deck type of card.
Definitely one of those raid cards that you'll switch out for another raid if you need it.
Exactly. Yama.
Yowabok. 3 energy, 1 action.
Your opponent reveals the top card of their deck. Place that card on the top of their deck or into their sideline.
Not bad. Again,
honestly, that's
more
not
control.
Bad. Yeah, control their hand. It's like, hey, you either draw into fodder or you draw into something good. And I could be like, oh, that's something good. Yeah, put it in your sideline. Oh, that's just more fodder. Yeah, keep it on top.
Dang, that card can help you win. Oh, is that a? Oh, Ichigo. Is that a Getsuga I see? Why don't you get rid of that?
Listen,
You don't need that.
No, I do need it. It's fodder.
Not against me.
It's fodder.
It won't even work against me because behold my next form. 4 and 2 energy. When you play him, you get to choose one of these moves. 1, you get to choose up to 1 rated card on your opponent's front line and place its top rated card into their sideline. Or you get to choose up to 1 character with 2k or less BP in your opponent's front line and sideline it.
Honestly, that first effect is kind of disrespectful.
That first effect is the best of the 2 because the second one's not really worth it much for the 2 action points. Like, yeah, you'll get rid of a fodder blocker, but it's just not.
It's not. I mean, for 2 actions for 4 energy, it doesn't do enough.
Right.
And it's when played abilities are super specific. Like I said, it's good. Like the D-rated characters, like, hey, I just D-rated your 4K raid Ichigo back into fodder Ichigo. Get wrecked. It's good, but it's like it doesn't.
There's more use that could have been put into his kit.
Exactly. And I feel as though for 2 actions, he doesn't do enough or make as much as an impact as he should. I can literally play a 1 action card, hence a Getsuga, and kill your 4K rated character.
Yeah.
Under set conditions that are quite easily to uphold.
Yeah, very easy. Especially when he's only at 4k BP for these 2 action points too. It's just not much. And he only generates 1 energy, so even playing him in the back line's not really that big of a flex. Like, my biggest guess would be you want to play him in the back line since he only has that when played ability. Maybe to get him started and then eventually raid him. But even still, it's like there's not much you can do with him.
Yeah, like for 2 actions, he doesn't do enough, so I have to put him as kind of mediocre.
This man doesn't get a sign. He doesn't get signed.
Which is kind of trash, but we get Alucard as a sign, but we don't get Yamak, the king of the Quincy's himself. Hey, okay, sure.
So 6 energy, 1 action. During your turn, when you raid him, if 2 or more characters have been sidelined this turn, he gets 1k BP, putting him to 5k, and he also gets damage 2.
Not bad.
Not bad. You know, the damage 2 is good. Sidelining characters seems to be something that can be useful. For the yellow cards, there are some sideline effects in there. So you're constantly going to be able to get the 5k BP if you build that deck, right? The damage plus 2, it's not going to get through, but you're going to get some free kills off because of it.
Exactly. The when played, also choose one of the two. Choose up to one rated card in your opponent's front line. Place the rated card to the sideline. Choose one character, 3 carry less PT on your opponent's front line side of it. So it's pretty much the same thing as the previous Yama, with the exceptions like 2k is now 3k. Again, not bad. I like the fact because it's one action instead of 2 actions. That's more resources for you to use after you bring him out, or you can set him up for this turn. The fact that he's 6 energy, which I say is understandable given take all that he does. Mm-hmm. He does literally, he could do, there's 3 things that comes with him on this raid effect. Depending on the type of cards you play in your deck, it wouldn't be too hard to get up to 6 energy, honestly. So I can see that this card is pretty good in my sense. Like if you really build around Yama, you can definitely make him work, and depending on the type of deck you run. So overall, I see him as a pretty good card.
Lloyd.
Bro, who is this TN wannabe, bro?
Oh, you know, just some fodder. He has plus minus BP. This character loses 1k BP when he blocks until the end of the turn. And if the opponent's attacking character is rated, he instead gains 1k BP. So he essentially, when he blocks, only has 2500 BP or 4500 BP.
It's alright. I mean, he's good if you're like, you have a bunch of, if your opponent's running a whole bunch of raid characters on the field, which of course the standard is 4k. So I can definitely see it's like, all right, boom, I have a wall, so I can stop some of your blockers going through. The fact that he has a plus and a minus kind of makes him kind of bad, because now he just becomes weaker if you put like say a 4 or 5k non-raid character on the field. Yeah. He literally just becomes weaker at that point, which makes no sense honestly to me. He's a card again that stands in the middle. I don't know if I would play a 4-of. I'll probably say he's one of those. I'll probably play 2 max. He's just there to just fill up the 50 card slots in your deck.
Now we have Lloyd. Your character cards with raid can perform raid on this character. That is really good.
It's super good.
Now you don't have to deal with the insane, or not even insane, you don't have to deal with the restriction of it having to be the exact same character. Now your raid characters can literally be anyone.
Yeah, so a prime example would be Yama. Like, you have the 0 fodder, the 4k, the 4 energy cost, and the 6 energy cost, the raid version. I would play this Lloyd. I would play 4 of him in place of the 4 energy 2 action Yama. Just because it's that I could just use him for raid instead. So he literally, I would say this card is super good.
Not only just playing 4 of him instead of 4 of the other cards, but like playing 4 of him gives you extra access to raid when you don't have the other characters in your hand, but you have the raid cards. You can still have Lloyd come out and still raid on top of him. Yeah, it's really good for that.
Especially, and like I said, so far there's only 1 card really in the yellow archetype that allows you to draw cards, which of course depending, like I said, me personally, I will only run 2.
Yeah.
So this really does help when I say I can't find my other cards to raid with. He's a good fodder to draw into to utilize instead. So I think Lloyd is very good. Definitely will want to see a 4 of.
Robert Accutrone, 3-in-1. When he's played, if there's a character with 4k or more BP on your opponent's field, you get to draw a card. We were just talking about not having much card draw, but here you are. It's very conditional because this is a late game card draw because it only happens when your opponent has a character with 4k or more BP. But he also provides you with 2 energy generations, so he's just going to be your back row character. You can run a couple of him in your deck. You definitely don't want to run a full 4, I don't think, because having him like in the long run, actually, no, I think you could run a full 4, but you probably wouldn't want to unless your deck is specifically able to handle that massive amount of Robert inside of it.
Exactly. Like this is one of the cards where it's like you're gonna have to play with and find your ratio depending on the deck you're gonna be running. Definitely, it's not a bad card. Like I said, it's 1 action, 3 energy. Draw a card if your opponent has like a raid character on their side of the field, so it gives you something to draw into for an answer. But overall, it's just like I said, it just really depending on what you want to, the ratio you want to play around this guy.
All right, so here we go. We get the sight for yellow. It is a Silburn, and when it is played, you get to look at the top 3 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Stern Ritter affinity card among them, add it to your hand, and place the remaining on the bottom in any order, aka they're now gone until you deck out. And then your active main, you can switch him to resting, or switch the sight to resting, to sideline 1 character on your field. And if you do, you can activate his Wood Plate ability.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's a really good filter card. Especially like say if you have just like going into late game and you're just drawing into fodder cards that you really have no plans for,
right.
You can just play it, activate Silburn, sack it, look at the filter to drop 3 cards of your deck to either find something or just digging 3 cards deep into your deck. Right. Which at this point, placing the cards at the bottom of your deck kind of becomes a little less impactful because like I said, you just keep digging and digging and digging to find the card that you need. So this is a pretty good card that I probably would see like you would want to play in your decks.
Yeah, it's really good. You're gonna wanna, if you're focusing on the Stern Ritters and trying to get as many of the good Stern Ritters out as possible, you can sacrifice some of your when played ability cards that are probably in your back, in your energy line or your front line, in order to activate Silburn's when played ability.
Yeah. Overall, good card. Definitely would play.
Next up, you get the event card, Quincy Volstern Dick.
So basically, it's just another Bankai, which...
Yep.
Yeah, which is good. 3 energy, 1 action, get 2 of your action points back. You can't get any better than that, so...
Run 4.
Yeah, you're running 4.
Zajail.
Jail.
Event, you get to choose 1 character on your opponent's front line and switch it to resting. This is very good if you're focusing on the resting side of things. You're going to want to run... If you're focusing on those resting things, run 4 of them.
Yeah.
It's 2 energy, 1 action. That is a must-have for that type of deck.
Really, literally good setup for your bigger resting cards to go in for the kill. So definitely run 4 of.
The Fear.
The Fear.
3 and 1. You get to choose up to 1 character on your opponent's front line to resting. But if you have as not on your field, instead of switching it to resting, it will then remain set to resting the next time it would be switched to active, and you get to draw a card.
I think this card is very good, especially if you're playing Asnot, which, as we saw earlier, is a fairly decent card. So this just makes them that much better.
Right.
Switching your cards to resting, and then they can't switch them back to active on their follow. Plus, you get a card draw. On top of that, that's another 2 for 1.
Yeah. This is one of the special cards, though. I believe there's going to be 2 specials in the yellow category. So depending on how this second special works, you might not run a full 4 of this. Alright, so your second special is going to be Metalize, 5 and a 1. You get to choose 1 character with 3k or less BP on your opponent's front line and sideline it. If there's a rated character on your opponent's field, or if Yamok is on your field, it's 5k or less BP instead.
Not bad. I would prefer to have be 4 energy costs versus being 5 energy costs. It's just more work you have to do just to get it active.
Right.
Especially for what you're going to be doing. So I would assume there has to be a way to just generate a lot of energy overall in the yellow archetype. Not a bad card. I personally just would have preferred to be 4 energy costs versus 5.
I agree. When it comes to the aspect of this card, it's focused on the whole raid factor again, which is what Yamok wants to focus on, and also what we saw someone else wants to focus on as well, is having rated characters. Lloyd, I believe.
Yeah.
So it seems like if you're focusing on your opponent and them having rated characters, then Metalize is the card you want to go with. But if not, then you want to focus on a deck with as not and switch your opponent's cards to resting, then you're going to run the Fear. If you're not so focused on raids, then yeah, go ahead and run like 4 of the Fears. But if you do want to have that Yamok presence in there, run 2 and 2. And the last card is going to be Blut. It's going to be a 1 card, or 1 energy, 1 action event card. You get to choose one of these effects. You get to choose one of your characters on your field gains 1k BP until the end of turn, or you get to choose up to 1 character on your opponent's front line that will lose 1k BP until the end of turn.
Which, I mean, for 1 energy, 1 action, it's not a bad card. It's just good. Like, it's just like that extra edge to give your character, or that extra trip on your opponent's character. It's just to tip the tides in your favor. So overall, not a bad card. Definitely will see its being used, its usage and everything.
Indeed, it's very basic, very straightforward, and yeah, it's just a real good middle of the road card. Run it,
yeah.
All right, and that's going to be all the yellow cards for Bleach. Unfortunately, we're running really long on time here, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to actually be switching this video into multiple parts. This first video is going to be Bleach yellow focused, and then our next video should be Bleach purple, followed by Bleach green. Then we will be going into the Hunter x Hunter side of things, where we will discuss Hunter x Hunter blue, Hunter x Hunter purple, Hunter x Hunter green. And that will conclude all of our videos talking about the card list that came out and our discussion about these cards.
Yeah, so once again, like I said, just to let you guys know, this is surely based on our opinions and what we feel as though how good the cards would be once the official king releases with the booster sets. Like I said, if you have any other personal opinions or anything you might want to add on to the discussion, let us know down in the comments below, and we'll be more than happy to read to get more insight. Like, oh, I haven't even thought of it that way. But other than that, like, I hope you guys enjoyed a little discussion between me and D, and we hope to see you soon on the next video.
So yeah, thank you all for watching today's video. Once again, I'm D.
I'm R.
And we were DJR
Union.